It's time for Ask Mike and Todd. Todd Ranck is here. It is a Friday. And I know you said it's like 70 degrees here today. Now, I haven't been outside. Apparently, it rained from when I was out there earlier. But I'm imagining the weather over there is a lot nicer than what we got here. And it's pretty darn nice here. I mean, these people are going nuts. They want to get outside. But you got probably great weather over there.
Yeah, that cabin fever starting to set in for people.
Ooh.
We got about 80 degrees by the beach, which means
Eee.
in the valley and downtown we're looking 90s, mid 90s. So it's unseasonably warm out here for being end of April, early May. And I'll tell you, next week we're looking at high 80s by the beach. I mean, it's going to get crazy. So, again, that's all you can do, Gil. You try to tell the smart ones, be smart. And you can tell the dumb ones be smart, and they're still not going to be smart. So, let's hope there's more smart people out there than dumb, but put the mask on when you can and try to keep your distance. And, I've seen a couple of memes, those GIFs or whatever come out with the suntans, and the mask is the other tan on your face. So we'll see. We'll see if that plays the truth. But yeah, it's getting really nice over here. So
right.
Summertime, let's hope,
Well, that's good. I mean, it's nice that we're getting nice weather. We got about 70 degrees on this side. So I hope people, enjoy themselves, but, try to be smart about it so we don't ruin it for everybody. All right, we got a lot happening, obviously, as we get ready for the weekend. But, hey, our buddy Pete G, he works for the NASCAR channel at Sirius XM Radio. And it looks like he's going to have NASCAR back in a couple of weeks. They're going to get out there and start racing again. I don't have a problem with NASCAR getting back. You don't need fans in the stands for NASCAR.
I would agree with that. Now, you talk about the pit crew, right? That's a little itchy. I mean, the pit crews are pretty close.
Well, those pit guys, though, they're all wearing, all sorts of suits anyway. They got, the fire suits on, right?
Yeah, and that's true. But
don't they wear helmets? Or no? I guess they can put a mask on.
Yeah, either way, either the helmet or the mask is what they're going to have to do. But I agree with you. I think, look, NASCAR is going to be the first step, and they're going to see how it goes, and then we're going to kind of move from there. I mean, we talked earlier with our boy, and, they want him back in the studio. And, it gets a little bit tough. And a lot of people are fearful about, you're in the studio, but you're in there knowing that there's not a lot of people in that building. And it's just pretty much you and your producer in your room.
Yeah.
And you can keep it sanitized. But for a bigger kind of production that Pete might be a part of, he goes into a larger building with a lot more people. He's got the new baby at home. All those kinds of things come into play. And so, he's a little apprehensive to go back just yet, So
well, right. I mean, he's working at a much bigger building.
Yeah.
But the actual the NASCAR is going to go back and race, I guess, in 2 weeks or something. They're going to get back out there. Now, golf has said they're going to start in mid-June to get back out there as well. Baseball thing that I read anyway today, which was that essentially, and I don't know that this is the reason, that they are trying to get. Obviously, baseball wants to get back out there just because they want to play, but. There was a report that, that the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, he was interviewed on the radio station the other day, and he said, quote, "I called the commissioner of baseball a couple of weeks ago, and I said, America needs baseball. It's a sign of getting back to normal. Is there any chance?" He added, "It would be a great morale booster." And I'm thinking, the Senate Majority Leader is asking the commissioner of baseball, is there any chance? You would think the commissioner would be saying to him, I should be asking you.
And not only that, you may say, "Hey, I'd like you to work on the country and what's going on as opposed to baseball. I can deal with baseball. You deal with the world." It is funny that, again, and this is the problem that I have, Gil, for example, is that Senate Majority Leader asking baseball because he wants to be able to show a visual to people that things are better. Again, we all want to be optimistic. We all want to hope. We all want those things. But then there's a reality part of it. And again, if you've got the majority of your workplace, which would be Major League Baseball players, if you got the majority of those players saying to you, the boss, "I don't feel comfortable coming back in this setting, working in this environment with these different rules set into place, what am I to do?" You think the Senate Majority Leader is going to give you a push that you're going to say, well, guys, I'm sorry, but, the powers that be are telling me we got to kick this thing off. I don't think Mitch McConnell has any authority over what they're going to do, but it is interesting that he would chime in and try to throw his weight a little bit into the conversation of, I think we need to get it back, and I think we need to get it back sooner than later. Now, if they do, though, Gil, has there been any talk, and I don't know about this because I just talked to a friend who was telling me about softball rules that their community are looking to change to accommodate the 6 feet social distancing. Has baseball talked about that in regards to the catcher, the home plate umpire? Have they talked about any of those things?
No.
So
that's an interesting point. They have talked about one of the scenarios, the original scenario. So baseball had a bunch of scenarios, right? They had this Arizona biosphere bubble where they were going to put everybody out in Arizona for where they do spring training. Like, we go to spring training every year in Florida. Arizona is not set up like Florida. Arizona has like a bunch of teams all in like a complex that's all like within, everybody plays in like the same area. Where in Florida, everybody plays in their own city. It's not like that so much in Arizona. So they're talking about putting all the teams out in Arizona in this like bubble, and that they would just live there, drive to the game, drive back home, essentially. But one of the things with that was that the home plate umpire would be a computer, like a robot, so that the umpire wouldn't have to be hovering, because the umpire is typically what? An older gentleman.
Yeah.
So they're talking about having an umpire behind the plate, but 6 feet back, and he's not calling the balls and strikes. He's only there for plays at the plate.
Well, and weren't they already they were already in the experimental phase of electronically calling balls and strikes.
Yeah, there's something like they were doing it in the independent league. There was like they were trying to start it, but that was one of the talks. Now, did you see the story today? The Major League Baseball has reached a deal with the umpires to take a 30% cut in the pay.
So the umpires of Major League Baseball for this coming year,
I'm wrong, 50%.
They're going to take a 50% pay cut.
Right. The Associated Press says the umpires have already been paid from January through April, and they will be paid at a 50% rate in May, according to the AP. They typically make between $150,000 and $450,000 a year.
Well, I mean, they're not even on the field right now. So, I mean, I get it. Again, they're part of a union, but, they're getting paid in May, and they haven't been on the field. So
right, but if they do come back, they're going to be umping these games at a 50% cut.
Well, and again, if their job is changing, then these are all things that need to happen. I mean, in the short term, right?
Sure.
This is all trying to accommodate things.
But you got bad umpire to begin with. Now you're getting a guy at 50% less of his pay.
Right. He's maybe disgruntled. I mean, they're going to have the same crews that they've had, so it's not like we've got scab umpires. But when you're looking at the setup, again, though, but I bet you the umpires, the pushback would be, wait a minute, you want us to take a 50% cut, and we're making 150 to 450. Again, you got major league players making 10, 20, 50 million. Where's their cut? Like, where are they going to get cut off their pay?
Yeah.
It's going to bring up a lot of fights to say what's more important, what do we need in there? Again, the stars of the game are the players, but shouldn't they be taking a pay cut? There's a lot that's going to go on here that I think it's going to cause a lot of tension among different parts of the game. But again, I think that's the question would be, you got a catcher who's right there with a batter. You're now pulling the umpire back further. You get a single. You're at first base. The first baseman's covering me at the bag. Nobody's wearing masks. I mean, so again, there's too many things you're sliding into.
Well, the big thing is, you say no one's wearing masks, but the big thing is, and I guess, a regular Joe might scratch his head and wonder, well, why they're going to be tested almost once a week.
That would be the plan, right?
Right. They're going to test them like once a week, take their temperatures, take the temperatures of people that are there, and, test them once a week so that they can verify that they are okay.
Okay, so let me give you the hypothetical. Okay, so they test one randomly week, and 2 guys on one team test positive. Now, they've been on 3 different 3-game sets with 3 other teams. You see the domino effect?
Well, that's the problem, right? Well, that's what happened. That's what happened in the NBA, which was, hey, the first guy got it. That what's his name from the Jazz, Gobert, and then the next thing you know, he played the Pistons, and the Pistons guy had it. Well, then of course the Pistons played the Sixers, and then the Sixers, the Sixers had like 4 or 5 people with it. They never said who they were. We don't know if it could have been a couple players, it could have been a couple workers, but they did say that they had 4. I don't remember the exact number, but that the Sixers had people that tested positive for it. But yeah, I mean, the first thing that happened was Gobert got it, then Wood got it, then this guy got it. I mean, who knows who's got what? The Lakers had about 4 or 5 players or people that had it. They never announced who it was out there either.
Well, this is why, again, I'm apprehensive to say to fans, don't get your hopes up, because no matter what sport it is, talk about NFL, everybody gets excited. Well, by August, it'll be all right. By August, by September. Well, you've got these guys, the offensive linemen, going right up at each other.
Ooh.
I mean, right on top of each other. Their breath is on it. They're spitting in each other's faces.
Well, maybe they have to wear a mask underneath that helmet, and they have to smell their own breath.
Yeah, yeah. Think about how long that's going to last before one of those guys say enough of this. But so this is what I'm concerned with, Gill, as just a person who's looking at all the different logistics of it. We can start an NFL season, but those types of things that are going to happen, as soon as somebody tests positive, which they definitely will, then what do? Do you shut down the season? Do you put it on hold? Do you try to contain?
That's the hard part.
This is where, and so I don't know the reality of what can be done to be able to legitimately have a successful full season of any sport.
Yeah,
I'm concerned. We were talking earlier. I think the reality of it is, unfortunately, a majority of this country is going to have to get the virus, and either you make it through, or sadly you don't. But that's the way to get it to a place where we know everybody's had it. Now you're immune to it, and now we can try to start to go normally in life, and you have the virus, and you have the vaccine maybe by next year. But you've got to. I think most people are just going to have to get it, sadly, in order to get through it and get to the other side.
Yeah. All right. Sunday night it will be the last dance, and I guess from what I understand now, Ben Golliver was on with the midday guys earlier on the warm up. And I think I heard him say that Atlantic City will be featured pretty prominently in Sunday night's episode. So they're going to get into, a little gambling that Michael Jordan has been accused of being a little overzealous about. I think we might have lost you. I don't know. It says he's still there. Maybe not. I don't know. All right. Well, that's the last dance on. All right. Well. I know too. When he actually sent me a video earlier today of him at some Vegas gambling parlor out there, and let me see if I can't try to get him back on the line really fast and throw that out. We're running a little short on time. Are you there?
Yeah, I was with you.
All right. Oh, sorry, you were gone, but we got you back. So this episode's supposed to be featuring Atlantic City pretty prominently. I guess they're going to get into Jordan's gambling.
Yeah, and I had a feeling this is the part that Jordan's a little concerned about.
Yeah, but keep in mind, Jordan, his production company had to okay all this stuff.
No, there's no question about that. But I also think he knows that if you're going to put it out there, there's things that got to come out. And again, we all knew about the gambling and some of these other things. This is going to give us some detail that we didn't have, right? We may just think it's funny and it's fun and he got through it and he made it to the other side. Or do we look at it and it tarnishes him a little bit? I don't know. I don't know if you sent me that article or that clip of Jeremy Roenick telling the story. Did you send that to me?
No.
Well, Jeremy Roenick told a story about a day that Jordan called him up and said, this was in the 90s, early 90s, he said, when they were winning the early championships. And he says, he called me up and he said, tomorrow morning, we're playing 18 holes at this such and such course. And Jeremy said, okay, I'll be there. So they went and they played 18. And he said, and Jeremy said, I beat him. I won a couple $1,000. And Jordan had a game that night against Cleveland. And he said, and Jordan said, all right, I want to play another 18. And Jeremy's thinking, dude, you got a game tonight. And he said, no, I want to get this back. I want to beat you. So he says, we play another 18 and we get a cooler of Coors Light beers.
Ooh.
So he said, we're drinking the beers. We play another 18. He goes, I beat Jordan again. And he says, Jordan's now, he's been drinking all day. He's played 36 holes of golf. He's got to go play a game that night. And he said to Jordan, he goes, you know what I think I'm going to do, Michael? All the money I won today from you, I'm going to put it on Cleveland winning this game tonight because I got a bad feeling about you. And Jordan says to him, he goes, look, we break even. I don't owe you a dime if I score more than 40 and we win by more than 20.
Oh, jeez.
And Jeremy goes, okay, it's a deal. And he says, by halftime, I knew my bet was dead. He said I think Jordan scored 46, Ooh. And they won by 25 or something.
I got to look that story up for verification, but I like it.
Oh, it's a great story. It was a great story. I just saw that the other day. And so, again, does that tell a story that maybe he wasn't so locked in every day, all day? He's a human being, but he still came to play. He's a professional. And that's where Jeremy was like, he's the greatest of all time because, he comes up and he still, like a professional, shows up and he puts on the show. So he goes, that's one of the situations where we're going to start to see a little bit deeper into his life. I think for fans like me and you, we're going to love it. But I think Jordan's a little concerned that the aura of him is going to be a little diminished by some of these other things.
Well, if he can go out, play 18 holes drunk and still score 40, I think it only adds to it.
Well, this is what I would say. Right? I mean, I think that's unbelievable, but, we'll have to see. But it's intriguing. I'm excited. I've got it on the calendar, and it's the thing I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. So it's going to be fun.
All right. It's Ask Mike and Todd here on a Friday show.